Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, I am live. Someone asked if I heard about Red Robin serving pizza. I have heard about this, but I have not tried it myself. Frankie, Frankie Armenta, can you hear me? Are you asking about Red Robin serving pizza? If you can hear me, just say yes. In fact, I can hear you, and then rate how well you can hear me on a scale of 1 to 10, please, in the chat. Okay, yes, sir. Okay, well, that's good enough. To answer your question, I will get it to what we're actually doing this morning, which is building a highly illegal bootleg um, Lego type McDonald's construction set. But I will answer your question in the chat first. Am I aware that Red Robin is now serving pizza? Yes, I am aware of that. I have not been able to try it myself because um, for whatever reason, they shut down the Red Robin that I was familiar with that was closest to me, which was in a mall called the Glendale Galleria. And this was some time ago. I had been there many times, and as far as I was concerned, I never experienced anything even remotely approaching a health violation. But I won't speculate as to why, but they were shut down um, permanently, it seems. So I will have to locate another Red Robin and try the pizza. I am curious about a couple of things. Number one, how does it taste? Number two, how long does it take to make? And actually, a third thing I am wondering about is whether or not it is pretty good for the price. And I hope to find all of those things out soon. It is curious that so many businesses are now offering pizza, restaurants that used to not offer pizza, such as Tim Hortons in the great nation of Canada and several others. I believe Panera Bread is now offering pizza. There seems to have been some sort of a breakthrough in pizza technology, or these businesses are more business savvy than McDonald's because they understand that pizza is a menu item that many people enjoy. But that is not why we are here this morning. We are here this morning to construct this Sembo block, facilitate communication between children and parents, set number 6901 for ages 6 plus, so that does apply to me personally. We're going to construct this massive McDonald's, and as you can see, I have already constructed the bottom floor. I will get into why that is in a moment. I did not, when I originally scheduled this live stream, I did not plan to construct any part of it actually before we got started, but that quickly became necessary once I researched exactly how long it would probably take to construct this entire building. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you, this is advertised as a 4-in-1 construction set. That is because it provides instructions for several other items that you can create with these pieces that are not just the gigantic McDonald's. I'll show you a few of those. I will not be building them because I simply do not have the time or the interest, but let's see. Oh, this is much easier. I was going to show you the instructions themselves, but this is much more illustrative. So we have a miniature McDonald's with an open 24-hour sign on top. As you can see, there is Ronald McDonald himself and what appears to be some sort of a businessman, customer. I think perhaps that is a drive-through. I'm not positive, but yes, this is a sort of a miniature sort of to-go McDonald's. And then you can also construct this even smaller McDonald's with, I don't know if you can see, but there is a seating area on the roof with what appears to be a miniature helicopter pad for a very small helicopter, and also no discernible way to actually get up onto the roof to dine at these tables. I would imagine that the customers could climb up the side of the building. Maybe these columns with these lines in them maybe could offer foot and handholds, but that does not seem very safe, and certainly not something that McDonald's would want to assume the legal liability for. And then we also have this third miniature McDonald's, a bit of a luxury McDonald's with a crystal chandelier outside. You don't see outdoor crystal chandeliers very often. Perhaps this is a European thing. And then finally, a what appears to be a McDonald's branded fire truck. I'm not sure what that is. But we will not be building any of these. We will be building this gigantic single McDonald's. And I, as you can hear in the sound of my voice, I'm very excited to get this completed. Now, as I said, I have done some construction already. I was researching exactly how long it takes to build these sorts of items. This is in official legal Lego parlance. This would be, I think, considered a modular building. The Lego company, they release, I don't know how many of these per year, but these very elaborate multi-story buildings that are meant to snap together so that you can create an entire Lego city in a room of your home as an adult collector. And obviously, these are not children's toys. These are massively expensive. I believe these buildings are several $100s at retail. So if you think that this is something that a child would not want to waste their time doing when they could be playing outside or playing with their friends or even playing video games or something actually fun, rest assured this is not intended for children to play with. This is for adult collectors only. Adults only, you might say. And so I was researching how long it takes to build one of these modular buildings, because this is not an official Lego system. This is a highly illegal Lego bootleg. But as these are a similar number of pieces, this is a similar sized construction, I figured that the building time would be somewhat similar as well. And what I was able to determine is that it usually takes upwards of 5 hours to construct those buildings. And I simply do not have the time to spend 5 hours this morning live building a Lego construction set. In 5 hours, many things could happen. And I do not necessarily want to mention them out loud for fear that I might jinx myself and cause a natural disaster. But I do live in California. There are many fault lines here, quite famously so. And in 5 hours, a massive earthquake could happen. My entire building could collapse, crushing me, crushing, more importantly, this construction set. And then I would be left with a live stream that was never actually finished, which I believe the YouTube algorithm sees as very unsatisfying and probably, quote unquote, bury me in the searches if my construction was not completed. So I went ahead and I constructed the ground floor. Rest assured, there is quite a bit more to construct. As you can see from the finished photo, there is a whole other second floor. And then, as you cannot see from this, but I assure you is the case, there is not a third floor, but there is an entire rooftop with quite a bit of content on top of it. So we will possibly be here for a few hours. But hopefully I have a good head start. So before I get into what I have already constructed building-wise, I will show you some of the side builds. Number one, I have constructed this bicycle. It includes a basket with a brown peg in it. I am not sure what this peg is supposed to represent. I don't know if it's I thought at first it was a hamburger, but then I noticed that the set itself includes hamburgers, and clearly this is not the same size as this. Try to focus the camera. This hamburger is much larger than the one in the basket, so perhaps it is a slider. Perhaps it is a cinnamon roll. Perhaps it is some other piece of bread. I do not know what it is, but this did come with a bicycle. I think the intention is that one of the customers that also came with the set would be riding this bicycle to or from the McDonald's. So that is constructed, and also this McDonald's delivery scooter. I have never seen this actually in real life. I do not believe McDonald's offers its own delivery. I believe they utilize a network of freelance laborers called DoorDash or Postmates or Uber Eats or something like that. These are financially desperate people who have leased their cars and their livelihoods to a internet corporation that exploits their labor in order to bring you food at your house when you do not want to take a walk down the street and pick it up yourself. But in the fantasy land of Sembo Block, I guess McDonald's does deliver, and they sometimes deliver on scooters such as these. As you can see, there is a storage compartment for food. I would assume that this is insulated, can keep the hot things hot and the cold things cold, a la the McDLT. You will see in the future if pizza can fit in here. Just a spoiler alarm. And finally, as far as side constructions, there's this industrial strength delivery all-terrain vehicle, far outside the realm of reality. But this one includes two food storage compartments and massive wheels that I assume are able to traverse any manner of terrain. And then this protective roll cage like canopy system. I guess so the delivery driver, if he misjudges, there is a particular type of terrain that he thinks, oh, this all-terrain vehicle can traverse this terrain, and then he traverses said terrain, and it turns out it is not so much terrain at all as it is a massive drop off of a sheer cliff. Hopefully, once this vehicle hits the ground far below, perhaps hundreds of feet, the roll cage will offer some amount of support so that the driver does not pass away. So I have constructed this already. And then we have several, well, in Lego parlance, so they're called minifigs. I believe it stands for miniature figures. I do not know what Sembo calls them in particular, but they serve the same purpose. They are miniature figurines of various characters you can use to populate your McDonald's. This is a small child with an ice cream cone. And this is a young farming woman in her bib overalls. And you also have, as seen earlier, the common businessman carrying a newspaper and a briefcase. And we have this gentleman, I assume just an average customer, very, very happy to be at the McDonald's and consuming high caloric food. And we also have 3 McDonald's employees. One is quite happy, one is somewhat happy, and the other is hard to say beneath her lipstick whether she is smiling or frowning. Perhaps that is a conscious choice. She seems somewhat disgruntled. So we have these 3 McDonald's employees, and they will be working behind the counter. And then finally, as far as the miniature figures go, there's Ronald McDonald's himself. And I believe his hair is a bit spikier, let's say, a bit more anime than it is traditionally depicted. But other than that, very similar to the traditional depictions of Ronald McDonald's, save for a slight variation on the golden arches, which, of course, is understandable considering this is a highly illegal bootleg, and they would not be able to exactly recreate the McDonald's golden arches. So, before we begin the actual live construction part of this process, let me show you what I have already constructed. I will move the camera a bit closer. See how this works. So this is the first floor of the Sembo McDonald's. As you can see outside, there's a bench for sitting. There is a set of revolving doors, and I have to be very careful because these pieces are quite precarious at the moment. But these revolving doors are used to go inside the McDonald's. There's inlaid golden arches and tile outside on the sidewalk. We have, for the children, a highly dangerous looking apparatus. I know these as teeter totters. Some call them seesaws, but whatever you call them, I think we can all agree this is something that no concerned parent should ever allow their child to use, lest they pass away in a horrible accident, either by falling off, hitting their head, cracking their skull open, and passing away that way, or by sitting on one end of the seesaw slash teeter totter, and then another child of quite a bit more weight sitting on the other side, and then the first child is launched into the air catapult style and smashes against a wall and passes away that way. I do not believe you see these anymore outside McDonald's for that very purpose. But there are some nice details here. The green awnings outside to protect the people sitting on this bench from the rain. Some very helpful signage showing exactly which way the doors are. That way. And same on this side. The door is this way. And then if you turn this around, you will see that there is a back door, the garbage can. I do not know if this was an employees only entrance or perhaps an entrance for people living in the alleyway outside. I do not know the economic circumstance of the citizens of this fictional town. One thing that you can notice here, I do not know if you can see, but I can see on the camera, you can see there's a bit of light that you can see shining through these bricks. That is a telltale sign that these are not official Lego bricks. They are not as dense and opaque as official Lego bricks. They are a bit cheaper, a bit hollower, and they do allow some light outside, but I do think it creates sort of an interesting tile effect. It's sort of a 1980s glass block, sort of a Miami Vice kind of look. And then continuing around, there is not much detail on some of these sides. As you can see, there are some holes here for pegs so that you can connect this building to other buildings in your adults only Lego city. And then there is also quite a robust interior to this Lego set. As you can see, there's a table with a hamburger on it and a mug, which is not attached to anything. So I will put this in a bit of a safer position. This part here, I do not really know what this is. I can't tell whatsoever what that is right now. A high chair, perhaps for a baby, or napkin dispenser area. I am not sure, but as you can see, here is the main counter with cash register with an antenna for, I suppose, communicating with satellites and verifying people's credit card information. Usually McDonald's does not have such an open kitchen plan back here, but in the interest of saving space, I suppose we can suspend our disbelief. Here is a little lifting countertop to allow employee access. As I said, there are some hamburgers back here ready to go. Who knows how long ago those were made, but I guess that is indicative of McDonald's expediting food practices. And then there is a booth here with a hot dog on it. At this fictional McDonald's, they do serve hot dogs, even though I have read the autobiography of McDonald's founder Ray Kroc, which is entitled Grinding It Out. And he does specifically say he hopes McDonald's never, ever serves hot dogs because hot dogs are made out of what he described as disgusting mystery meat. And no one would trust them anymore if they decided to sell those to the public. I do believe at some point McDonald's did try selling a hot dog after Ray Kroc's death, but I do not know if his ghost appeared at McDonald's headquarters and potentially either scared or fatally injured some of the executives in charge. But the hot dog was quickly taken off the menu for good reason. Okay, so let us begin with the actual construction of the rest of this set. I will be following the instructions. Let me position the camera. I'm sorry about my camera work. The image I'm seeing of what the camera is feeding to YouTube is reversed, and it is a bit discombobulating. But another advantage of having done some prior construction already is that I have a general idea of where the pieces are vis-a-vis all of these separate bags. These bags, unlike official Lego sets, are not numbered in the order of usage. So it is a bit of a chore figuring out exactly which piece is where, and I did not want to spend several more hours on top of the actual construction time searching for pieces. So I do have somewhat of a rudimentary organization system with these plastic organizer boxes and then some pieces still in bags, and hopefully I have a fair handle on exactly where these pieces are. These are quite a bit more pieces than I am used to with my my normal building skills, which are not very advanced, although I have in the past constructed another smaller McDonald's on this very channel. In fact, I have it here right now. If you remember, oh no, oh no. Well, I will fix that later. Anyway, here is the last McDonald's that I built on this channel. This is also a two-story affair, but quite a bit smaller. It features a rotating hamburger on top. This was used as a set for a major motion picture starring this Ronald McDonald's and his young ward, a character by the name of Crepe. And again, I do not want to spoil anything, but I can pretty much guarantee that this new McDonald's will serve as the set for a brand new motion picture starring the same characters in the franchise. So let me put this aside. That rattling sound you heard earlier was another piece of the set from my previous production, which was the McDonald's pizza oven that I constructed. The door fell off of it, but the pizza inside is still intact. And I will be incorporating that into this set once I am finished. I do not know where the door to the pizza oven went. Somewhere around here. Oh, here it is. There it is. And I will reconstruct those later. Okay, so we are ready to go. I am on page, if you're following along at home, I am on page 41 of the instruction book. And I will begin constructing. So I believe the next thing in line for construction is the internal staircase. Gathering the necessary pieces right now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 studs here. And we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stud long piece. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 piece. Okay. So and I do not know how many people are watching the live stream at this moment, but if you are, if you have a question, just put it in the chat. I will be glancing over from time to time. Maybe two 1x1 white sides. It is quite a warm morning here in the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of Los Angeles. Let me see if I can provide a more comprehensive view of this situation. Hopefully my tripod will not fall over. It is quite a warm morning here in the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of Los Angeles. It has been extremely hot all week long, and then there was a massive rain one night ago. I believe we got, and this is fairly severe for the area, but we got almost a half of a quarter inch of rain. And of course, the houses were sliding down hills, and many people died. But it was supposed to also bring some cooler air. I do not know if that happened. It definitely brought some mugginess, and I am feeling it right now. I'm hoping that my thermostat kicks in a moment and the air conditioner turns on. If it does, you may hear it. It may drown out my voice, and I do apologize for that. But in the interest of my own survival, it is just something that has to be done at some point. Josh F. says, perhaps the adults-only world of highly illegal Brit kits should be exposed in investigative journalism after dark. You know, I did have quite a strange... Actually, the entire reason that I own this item is due to a series of strange events with the shady retailer from whom I purchased it. These items, as I said, are highly illegal bootlegs, not official in any way whatsoever. Therefore, they are fairly difficult to find on the electronic bay, which uses a secure purchasing system. So I'm comfortable buying illegal items from the electronic bay because the sellers have ratings and there is a system of justice in place in case something goes wrong. And in fact, the previous highly illegal bootleg McDonald's that I purchased was from the electronic bay. But I noticed that they have stopped allowing the sale of such items as these, or if they do, they're disguised in the description in such a way that I was not able to find any on the electronic bay. I did know that this set existed, so I was searching on the google.com information service for another retailer from whom I might purchase it. And I did find one, and it was a bit suspicious looking. It sort of looked like a website that was constructed in 1992, pre-internet, pre-everything, really. And but they did list this for sale for roughly $100 US, including shipping. And I thought I might take a chance on this. I just cleared all of my money out of my bank except for the $100. So if they had access to my bank account, they would be in for quite a rude awakening when they realized that they had already taken all of my money. And I made the order, and then very shortly afterwards, I immediately regretted it. And I thought, that granted that they access my bank account, there isn't going to be any more money there. But then if they access my bank account, that means they probably have more information about my identity, which they could exploit for other uses. And eventually I could find myself without house or home or livelihood or even my own personal personage to rely upon. People would think that whoever this new person from this illegal bootleg Lego system retailer website was that was hosting the program, whatever happened to pizza at McDonald's, was me, and they would be able to prove it with all the necessary paperwork. And I do not know if they would be able to maintain the high level of quality that I have established for my investigative journalism program, which is not something that I would be able to metaphorically stomach. So almost immediately after making the purchase, I canceled the purchase. And to the credit of the website from whom I purchased this item, They got back to me very quickly and said, certainly we will cancel your order. They canceled my order. The funds were refunded into my account. It turns out this was actually a very reputable website, and I made a huge mistake. But by that point, it was too embarrassing to uncancel my order. Sort of socially awkward, so I just forgot about it. And then several weeks later, this item showed up at my door. I can only assume that something in their system made a mistake, and they didn't acknowledge that my order was canceled, and they sent the item anyway. So I received this item basically for free. Is that theft? I do not know. Will a judge be able to determine? Maybe. Will I appear in court if summoned? Yes. Legally, I have to. Will I be able to pay my fees? I do not know. But hopefully that it won't come to that. Hopefully they could just use this as a tax write-off or something. But long story short, I did receive this item for free. Let's see. Continuing with this instruction, I need 2 of these. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so as I said, I believe what I am constructing now is a staircase, and I think I may have gotten some of the order of the orders mixed up. Let's see. 2 of these, 4 of these, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 long, thin, white pieces such as these. And okay, so and please do have patience with me. As I said, I am not a very advanced, certainly not a very advanced Lego builder, and therefore not a very advanced builder of highly illegal bootleg Legos either. This piece does not fit properly. What is the problem here? There we go. So this is not resembling any staircase that I've ever seen before, but perhaps it is a European thing. Lego is a European company, and I believe this particular company, Sembo Block, is based out of China, which many incorrectly believe is also a part of Europe. Just a very, 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 very far eastern part of Europe. But that is actually not the case, and has not been the case for quite a while. There was a fairly tyrannical monarch in the British Islands. Her name escapes me now. Queen Liza or something like that, who tried to lay claim to a part of China for many, many years. But thankfully, her tyrannical reign was ended, and now it is a fully independent country. And those people still in China who believe themselves to be part of this British Empire, or at least who did not want to be part of the official Chinese government, are dealt with rather severely, but at least they aren't dealt with by a monarch. All right, so this is a staircase. This will lead up to the second floor of this set. And now I believe we will be constructing the railings. Let's see. I need some yellow pieces. Yellow pieces. Very small yellow pieces with a claw-like apparatus on top of them. And I do not know where these pieces might be. They're not in my organizational system. Have you seen a small 1x1? If you've seen a small 1x1 yellow piece with a claw apparatus on top, please let me know in the chat. Actually, I do wonder if these are not intended to be yellow at all, but are instead just shown as being yellow in the instructions. Yes. See, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So this is the instructions for this staircase and the railing, and these pieces that are clearly yellow, I do not actually believe are meant to be yellow, because if you look at later pictures, the railing, the staircase spoiler alarm, is more of a tan color. And I do have tan colored pieces that match this. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they mean the tan colored pieces and forge ahead. So I need 6 of these. 4, 2, 3, 4 of these. 2. 2 long clear tubes. And 2 shorter tubes. The tubes are somewhat difficult to see because they are clear plastic. Okay. So now I am just missing 1 long clear tube. No idea where that went. Well, it should turn up at some point. Okay, so one clear tube goes suchly, and the other goes thusly. Do my best to connect them. Okay, so this is the staircase with railing, somewhat imperfect match of these two clear plastic pieces, but I believe that is what you get when you use bootleg illegal Lego systems. So I still need to find the second long clear piece. It must be around here somewhere, but I'm not seeing it right now. I'll just move ahead and hope that it turns up a bit later. I am a bit afraid that they mean this piece, which I do have, and which matches the sort of milky coloration of this handrail. Longer piece, but obviously this is much shorter. And I'm a bit concerned that this was just mistakenly included as a handrail. If that is the case, I will install it, and this staircase will just have a broken handrail, and the proprietors of this fictional McDonald's will have to assume the legal liability. I am drinking some coffee this morning, donut shop variety, simply for the caffeine. It is Sunday. Normally I would be in church right now, but I am doing this, so I'm going to go to my evening church service, and by that point I will have been awake for quite a while, and I will certainly need the caffeine. Taking a glance at the chat. Does the set include any pizzas? If not, it does not include any pizzas, but to answer your question, yes, I am planning to add some. I do have Lego compatible pizza, and this pizza oven, which I have previously constructed. Let me replace the door on it. But this is a pizza oven that I have previously constructed for another project, and I will be installing it. Pizza slips right inside. And not a perfect representation of the traditional original recipe McDonald's pizza oven, but it will suffice. I will have to take some creative license. Nick Chick says, looks like you're going to be at that for quite a while. Yes, unfortunately, that does seem to be the case. In fact, I should probably focus more on building, so we are not all here all day long. So staircase constructed. And now I shall install it. Oh, the part of the interior that I did not know what it was. All is revealed now. It is an attachment point for the staircase. So this goes in here. Thusly. Thusly. And there you go. All right, moving on. As you might hear, I am doing a bit of sniffing. I do have some sniffles. I believe they are just allergy related. I do not believe it is COVID-19 coronavirus because I have already had COVID-19 coronavirus, which, as I understand it, means that I am super immune to ever catching another virus again. But that does not protect me from allergic reactions to various pollens and things like that in the air. I do not know exactly the ages of everyone watching or listening to this right now, so apologies if this is a bit untoward if you're too young for this information. But there is a substance called pollen that many people have some allergic reactions to, and sometimes it flies around in the air, particularly for me after a rain like we received last night. And if you are not aware of what pollen is, it is a flower's semen. Let's see here. So now finally we are covering the revolving doors and hopefully making them a bit more secure. Let's see how this is supposed to attach. I believe thusly. And now the doors will safely spin without flying off of their axis, which is nice. So this bootleg illegal McDonald's construction set is not at quite the quality level of traditional McDonald's, or traditional, I'm sorry, Lego pieces. But it's better than you would think. It's just sometimes that you have to push a bit harder to get the pieces to stick together. But once they stick together, they, for the most part, stay that way. I believe now I'm about to construct some greenery outside the trunks of some kind of plants or stems. I don't know what the plant is. So a small tree or a large other kind of plant. I do not know if that's a trunk or a stem, but we will find out. As I said earlier, it is a very good thing I decided to do some pre-construction, because if I did not know where all of these pieces were, this would be quite a chore. And for those who are wondering why I go silent, it's because I'm hunting down pieces for each step of the process. If you're not familiar with the instruction manual for a construction set such as this, it'll list all of the new pieces that you will need for each stage of construction. So I like to gather all of those up in advance and then proceed to constructing. So I just need a few more for this step. One of these, and cannot tell exactly how long of a piece I need. I think it's one of these, but we will see. This goes here, and let's see if I can tell. Yes, that was the correct length. This goes here. And then these decorative pieces are somewhat meticulous. They alternate red and yellow around the perimeter of this floor of the building. One, two, three, four reds on this side. Okay, one, two, three, four reds on this side as well, plus one more yellow. And then we have two reds. I believe in this configuration. And now constructing a street lamp. Where is the light piece? Well, This is the actual lamp post, but the light of the lamp is this it? This may be it. I believe this piece may be it. It appears something smaller would be appropriate according to the picture, but the picture shows a piece that looks sort of similar to a translucent yellow miniature figurature's head. And this is not that, but this is very close. And I do not think that this piece would apply anywhere else. So perhaps this is it. This is one of the things you have to do when you're constructing a highly illegal bootleg Lego set. You have to make some educated guesses and correct for some manufacturing errors on the fly. Let's see. This should work. And here we have a very simple street lamp. And that goes here. And then my reasoning also in doing some pre-construction was that I finished exactly halfway through the instruction manual. So I was able to determine with some accuracy how much more construction I would have to do. Halfway through the instruction manual also happened to correspond almost exactly to just the first floor of the building. So that was fortuitous as well. But it took a couple of hours, I believe, to build the first floor. So I'm hoping that it will only take a couple of hours to construct the rest. We shall see. Oh, that piece is a bit precariously balanced. It works. Okay, on to constructing the rest of these shrubs, plants, small trees. Okay, there is the greenery. And here we have the top of one plant. And it goes thusly. Okay, greenery is finished. On to what appears to be a mailbox outside the building. Let's see. I also believe the white pieces are meant to represent newspapers. Or, I guess this is a newspaper vending machine. Perhaps papers written by some of my colleagues in the journalism field. Woodward, Berenstain, etc. Go here, and now there's a newspaper vending machine outside the McDonald's. Very nice. I suppose for those morning eaters. And now a piece that goes at the top of the staircase. And again, I'm running into an issue with what is yellow and what is tan colored. And two white pieces that I'm not sure I know where they are. I've located the white pieces. 1, 2, and now, yes, am I looking for a tan piece or a yellow piece, or is it a mute point because you do not see either tan or yellow of the piece I'm looking for? It is tan. Tan and the 2 yellows. Okay. I'm also hoping that the second floor goes a bit more quickly because it should be constructed of larger pieces, giant windows, etc. Again, we shall see. I'm looking at the chat now. Flad says, "Hi, Brian. I've always thought the reason your investigations were relatively unknown was the podcast format. Podcasts don't favor the low attention span that most creators cater to. Your thoughts?" Well, my thought on that is that you might be correct that podcasts are definitely for the most intelligent. If you look at the top 100 podcasts on Apple Podcast, you will see that these are podcasts for people who live a slower paced life, people who are more thoughtful, people who read, people who have a very long and focused attention span. Podcasts such as the Adam Carolla podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, uh, the Anna Faris podcast. I believe there is a very popular podcast that is just two men who throw fruit off the top of buildings and watch it smash against the pavement. Things like that are definitely for the more thoughtful. My show is no different. But I've always been a big believer in not underestimating the intelligence of your audience. And if that means that my program suffers in popularity, then so be it. Hopefully, the rest of the world will catch up and I will be vindicated in heaven when I pass away. Let's see. Okay, now I'm clearly constructing the floor of the second floor. And I am not sure exactly how large these black pieces should be. So let me count the pips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And now a 10. Similar size. One of these. One of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These. 4. Oh. This is what I need. And one of these. Oh, I needed 3 of these. 2, 3. And one sort of wedge-shaped white piece. Oh, great fortune. I have found the missing handrail for the staircase. Perfect. Okay. White wedge-shaped piece. White wedge-shaped piece. If I were a white wedge-shaped piece, I believe I would be in this bag. Okay, so I'm going to have to move this out of the way a bit. These instructions are somewhat difficult to see just because of the large surface area of these pieces. Makes it difficult to determine which pieces should go where. But I believe I'm doing it correctly. Okay, moving on. I have to be very careful when opening these bags too, because I have a tendency to pull too hard and then they burst open and pieces fly everywhere. And I do admit, obviously, I do love to laugh. I have a sense of humor, but and it is quite comical to the outsider, but I am not an outsider. I am an insider, and that is not very comical to me. It is deeply upsetting when that happens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is too long. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two, three. Okay. 2 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 4 of these. 2, 3, 4, 2 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of these. Okay. This is a bit tricky. Okay. That one was a bit difficult to follow instruction-wise, but mission accomplished. Are these more clear pieces it is asking for? Oh my gracious, I believe. So this set includes a light kit. It will light up once fully constructed, and I believe I am supposed to install the first of the lights at this point. If I can figure out how to open this package of lights. There we go. So, if I'm not mistaken, I must disconnect the wiring from two of these pieces. And take a sip of my caffeinated beverage, coffee. Continuing with some red pieces. One, two, and one of these. So we flip this over. This is a bit irritating because this is no longer level when you lay it flat on the desktop due to these connectors on these light pieces. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And I believe this part is going to be where the staircase, oh, maybe not. I was going to say, I believe this is maybe where the staircase connects on the second floor. Actually, it may still be maybe the staircase that goes up to the rooftop. We shall see. And from my experience constructing the first floor, I believe that these are going to be the beginnings of some tables and chairs here on the second floor. And I was not very happy with how those were constructed. The way the chairs connect to the floor is somewhat flimsy. But who am I to judge? I am not a professional designer of highly illegal bootleg Lego-like construction sets. Okay. I need 8 red blocks. 1, 2, 8. And this project should be a lesson to those who say, why should I have to learn math in school? I never use math. I have had to count up to 9 during the building of this particular project, up to the number 9. So again, let that be a lesson to you. And also apologies, I know I do have a bit of a squeaky desk chair. This is on purpose. In case I nod off and my chair starts to list to the side, potentially depositing me onto the floor, I will hopefully be awakened by the squeaking. Okay, well, the second floor seems to be coming along at a reasonable pace, which is good news. All things considered, there are not very many pieces left. So I am hoping the pace will continue apace. As I suspected, this is a seating area, and as I also suspected, it is the same somewhat flimsy construction method used on the first floor's seating area. These chairs just do not stick very well because they're only held in place by a single stud. I guess that allows for a swerving rotation, but if you try to attach the legs of any miniature figurature, the chair is going to break off of its base and collapse on the floor. I'm looking for a small yellow piece right now. Having some trouble locating it. Does not seem to be located with my other yellow pieces. Is it potentially a tan piece and not yellow? Possibly. I do have a tan piece that matches the description of the yellow piece. I'm looking for a small 1x1 block, such as this, but in a yellow color, not in the tan. But do not see one in a yellow color, unfortunately. And I do believe it is part of yellow because it should be part of the continuum that I am building right now with all of these other yellow pieces. So as you can see, there's one stud. There's one stud here, which is supposed to contain another yellow piece. I have a tan piece that fits, but would not match these. Although, perhaps it is supposed to be tan because the stud on the other side is missing as well. Perhaps that will eventually be tan too. I will put a tan piece there for now and hope for the best. Okay, this is coming along quite well. I need what appears to be a windshield. And then oh my gracious, I found the proper light piece for the street lamp. I will go ahead and correct that now. It is, as I thought earlier, a piece very similar to the head of a miniature figurature, but in a translucent yellow. Now I'm looking for some more clear window-like pieces. I believe I saw them earlier. Ah, here they are. So, 3 of these. So this windshield-like piece appears to be some kind of a display case, perhaps, for various foodstuffs. I've never seen such like in a McDonald's, but this is not exactly like a real-life McDonald's. This is somewhat fantastical. Frankie says, I went to a McDonald's in DC once that kind of resembled this 2-story one. That's very interesting. Perhaps I will visit the next time I am in the District of Columbia. That is an interesting topic. What are the most, architecturally speaking, interesting McDonald's as you have visited? Personally, many years ago, I went to one in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, aka the East Coast headquarters of whatever happened to pizza at McDonald's. And it was in what was clearly a former movie theater. It is closed now. I tried to visit the last time I was in the area, and it was not open. I believe it has been closed for quite a while, but it was a very interesting McDonald's. You ordered at the what I guess was the concession counter originally, and then they had converted the actual theater into a dining area. It did sort of make you wish that you were watching a film as you were eating your quarter pounder with cheese or whatever. Perhaps something McDonald's related, like Mac and Me. Check my messages. Noticed I got some messages on my telephone, just tantamount to a pocket computer. Nothing important. Okay, continuing on. So as you can see, we're getting into some larger pieces. Some might call them filler pieces, but hopefully this will make the construction go a bit faster once these larger pieces come into play. And I do welcome that eventuality. Oh, we just finished out this bag. Toss this into the bag pile. And just so you know, in case anybody is wondering, I will be slicing these bags up into teeny, tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny pieces before I toss them out, just in case a dolphin gets trapped in one. Okay, and now on to the construction of staircase number 2. Did anyone else watch that docudrama series on, I believe it was on Home Box Office, about a gentleman named The Staircase who, quite coincidentally, had more than one significant other pass away by falling down a staircase. 7910. Very interesting docudrama. It was rather suspicious that he had 2 different loved ones in his life pass away from falling down a staircase. But then it turned out that it was just an owl responsible for the unfortunate events. Okay. Oh, Frankie says, I think he blamed it on an eagle. It could have been an eagle. Vicious creatures, birds. Descended from dinosaurs, if I'm not mistaken. which we all know how terrible those can be from having seen terrible films such as Jurassic World 1, 2, or even 3. Anyway, I hope that the victims of these vicious bird attacks can take some comfort up in heaven that birds do not go to heaven, as they do not have souls. I believe that in order to have a soul, a creature must be warm-blooded in order to incubate the soul inside of them. Cold-blooded creatures, their body temperature is subject to such change based on environmental conditions that's very often the soul just either burns up or freezes to death. I believe I have that right. I took an advanced biology course at the University of Phoenix online. Let's see. So this staircase seems to be constructed identically to the previous staircase. And now, hopefully, I can remember where I found those extra handrails. There is one. Oh, I'm facing the same dilemma I faced last time. I can only find one of these long pieces, and I have only this semi-long piece. but I'm afraid that what I was afraid of before, I am still afraid of, and has turned out to be true, that they mistakenly gave me a too short, uh, milky handrail piece. But we shall see once I finish construction, perhaps, see what is left over. If the Lego Corporation, or even the illegal bootleg Lego knockoff Sembo Corporation, ever gets into the business of creating licensed sets for home box office programs, perhaps the staircase would be a good one to consider. Lots of fun building opportunities for such a program. Obviously, the titular staircases, and then the house that the staircase lived in, um, was quite palatial. That would be fun to build. Perhaps maybe as an ancillary set, you could construct the campaign office for when he ran for congressman, or whatever it was he ran for, before he was forced to drop out in disgrace after being exposed as a liar. Okay, so this staircase connects right here. Wonderful. Ew. Having a Lego construction set of the staircase might also serve as sort of a therapeutic activity for the survivors of the victim. They could construct a fictional scenario in which their loved one did not pass away from being attacked by a bird and falling down the staircase. Might bring them some closure. And it appears I am constructing another hamburger, like the 3 hamburgers I constructed for the bottom floor. Perhaps someone on the second floor dining room, or in the second floor dining room, is also enjoying a hamburger. I do not know where this hamburger should be placed. I suppose just here, loosely on the table for easy pickup, although that is going to fall off, so we'll set that aside for now. Constructing some windows, it appears now. Pardon me. Now this is a brick separator piece. I have not been able, or haven't had a need to use this tool yet. I will set this aside. Constructing yet more windows. and believe that right now this area is going to be an attachment for a large three-dimensional golden arches sculpture to be constructed later. Okay, so 2 of these clear windows are going to need golden arches decals. I have this sheet of stickers, and I will apply them to 2 of these windows before I place them on the structure. The instructions recommend placing them on the structure first, but I do not believe that is a very good idea. So, and it is somewhat difficult to align these properly. There we go. Golden arches, happy every day. I'm loving it. The well-known McDonald's slogan, happy every day. And I do not know if it is showing up on camera, but I am certainly seeing that when I touch the side of these stickers with the adhesive, my fingerprints do show up. If you see my fingerprints in the camera, please do not pause the image, zoom in on the fingerprint, recreate the fingerprint, and then use it to create false latex fingertips that you can wear on your fingers and access any sort of biometric scanner that is programmed to recognize my fingerprint. I ask that you do not do that. And in fact, by watching this video, you are legally consenting to my demand that you not do that and assume all liability if you violate that agreement. Okay. Taking another sip of my caffeinated coffee. Okay, and we are now on page 63 of the instructions. Less than 20 more pages to go. Less than 20. So the shorter milky tube that I thought was mistakenly a too short handrail is in fact not a handrail at all that is too short. It is used in the construction of the three-dimensional golden arches connection point. Good thing I did not use that as a handrail. I would certainly have some metaphorical egg on my literal face. So this milky plastic piece connects here. Somewhat flimsy, so to be very careful. That is connected. Oops. I placed that piece in the wrong location. Perhaps I will have to use my brick separator tool. My goodness. There we go. And now to the construction of the three-dimensional golden arches. And there you have it. Somewhat beautiful, do not you think? More light pieces. I believe the final light piece. Hopefully this will not be too difficult to wire later. Oh, now comes the wiring. I'm examining the diagram. So if I read this correctly, these wires should be fed through this hole in the side of the building. I shall be very careful doing this. I do encourage anyone watching this, if you need to do any sort of electrical work around your home, please, please, please spend the money and the effort to hire a licensed electrician. I do not really need to, because I read a Wikipedia page about lighting, but not everyone has done so. So let's see. I believe the longest wire should be fed underneath or perhaps not underneath. Where are all of the lights? No, there's one here. And one here. These lights are, the wires anyway, are somewhat unsightly, but perhaps the finished effect will be worth the unsightliness. And then finally, the final two wires should run beneath this floor to the light bricks on the bottom. And I believe they are not long enough to do so, so perhaps I used the incorrect length of wire. These are very small plugs for the wires. Bit tricky. But I believe I have successfully wired this contraption. Now the problem is that the USB cable powering the lights is quite short. My telephone was ringing. Sorry. But I can test it out with this USB hub. See if they even work. And they do. Lights. Well, that's encouraging. So there we have it. The second floor. Oh, it's not quite finished yet. Just the wiring is done. A couple more finishing touches on the second floor. There we are. Second floor, I believe, is finished. Random Dude 578 says, "Thank you for your ceaseless efforts in the field of journalism, Brian." Well, you are welcome. I consider it my civic duty. And I do include this particular project in those efforts. This is journalism of a sort. Okay, so now to place the second floor on top of the first floor. Oh, it fits quite nicely. It does not click into place necessarily, so that you can easily remove it for access to the bottom floor. That is a nice touch. But here we are, second floor complete. I'll raise my perspective so that you can continue to observe construction of the rooftop. This is looking quite good. Very impressive. Oh, I think I missed a piece. Right here. Beautiful. Now I'll push this out of the way for the moment while I construct the rooftop. So I need one of these, and I need one of these. Actually, I need 3 of these. Maybe one of these. One of these. Need a longish white piece here. And finally, one of these. The beginnings of these floors are somewhat tricky because there's so much surface area. It is difficult to see on the diagram exactly where everything should go, but I believe I have this correct. Oh, do I have the wrong sized piece? Oh no. Perhaps it is a mistake on the diagram's part. I believe this piece right here should be slightly wider. But I do not think it will matter. Hmm. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I am somewhat confused. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Oh, I see what has happened. Okay. Now it is making sense. As I said, these bottoms of these floors are somewhat tricky, but I figured it out. At least I believe I figured it out. I'm still somewhat confused by the lengths of these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Ah. Aha. Backtrack. I believe I just need to start over with the bottom of this particular floor. Unfortunately, this is my first major setback. And all things considered, it is not that major of a setback, but I believe I just got the pieces maybe in the wrong place. So let us do this one more time. So this goes thusly. And this goes thusly, I believe. And then there's a gap. This gap I missed earlier. Okay, I believe this solves the problem. So it should be relatively simple from here. Okay, that looks correct. And now aha. Success. Okay. There we are. A finished floor for this. I guess a finished ceiling. Finished floor for the ceiling. A finished floor for the rooftop. Finished ceiling for the building. Another bag down. Oh, this one. Do not want to forget this gray piece. I believe there will be more seating here on the rooftop. Constructed in the same fashion as the interior of the building. Another bag emptied. And now I need probably this entire bag of black cylindrical pieces. If the crackling of this plastic bag is giving you an ASMR effect, I do apologize. And I have 2 cylinders left over in the bag. I will place them in here with other black pieces. And now for some chairs. These are the last of the chairs. Well, actually, this loose hamburger I can place safely on the table in floor number 2. Since I'm not constructing that anymore, it will not fall off. And now I need quite a few of these curved red pieces, perhaps the whole bag. And one of these. If building all of these little repetitive architectural details in construction set form is tedious, imagine how it must have been for the construction workers who did this on actual buildings, perhaps contributing to their very high suicide rate. These are not as straight as I would like them to be. But perhaps that will get sorted out later. I'm holding this very similarly to a painter's palette. And in a way, I suppose I am painting with plastic bricks. And there we are. My goodness, now red cylinders, but first, just a couple of more additions. Orient this the same way as the diagram. And additionally, another hot dog is to be placed on one of these tables in the direct violation of all good taste and health standards. Let's see. Actually, to save on the plastic crinkling, I will utilize my plastic tray to hold these red cylinders so I don't have to dig in this bag every time I want to take one. Oh, goodness. It is 11:48 a.m. here on the West Coast, approaching lunchtime. I have not eaten breakfast. I have just eaten this coffee. And I just ate the last of it. Hopefully that will tide me over until this project is complete and I can consume actual food. It just occurred to me that I have not made any sort of social media update since this live stream began, and perhaps there are people who would be interested in viewing, but are assuming that it would be inconceivable that someone would be building anything for this long and they missed out. So let me do a quick update on twitter.com just to let people know that this is still ongoing, even though it will hopefully end very soon. Despite all logic or reason, I am still constructing this massive and illegal bootleg McDonald's, but you are welcome to watch and or leave a question in the chat. Tweet. Okay. Update sent. Now, on to more tedious building. A steering wheel for some reason, which goes here. And then 43 of these pieces. The decorative features around the perimeter of this roof are by far the most boring and irritating part of this entire build. But I believe only 7 more pages to go in the instruction manual. So that is something, I guess. This part of the roof is very flimsy. I have to be very careful. Okay. Hmm. Yet more tedium. Hello, Mr. Fat Tony's. To answer your question, I have constructed the first and second floors of the McDonald's, and this is the rooftop. Thankfully, this is the final section. Once it is all complete, I will put on the roof, I will plug in the lights, and we will see this beautiful structure in all its glory. You're welcome. Okay. And for reasons unknown to me, again, perhaps this is a European design convention. There is a crystal chandelier on the roof of this McDonald's. It's the next thing I'm constructing. Oh, you are welcome, Uncle Unabated. This is a very relaxing experience for me as well, save for the massive frustration, the hunger, the wearing raw of my fingertips almost to the point of bleeding, and keeping me from my normal church service this morning. But it is all worth it. I did say earlier that this does count as a church service, and that is correct. Obviously, not a traditional church service, and definitely not what I am used to on a Sunday morning. But because it is a Sunday morning, I did want to at least acknowledge the fact that this is the Lord's Day and share a little bit of scripture. Now, I have not memorized anything. I'm just speaking off of the metaphorical top of my literal head, but I would like to tell a story that I once read in Bible. there was a gentleman named Samson, and he was quite strong, very strong indeed, strong enough to kill numerous living beings. And God, Ben David, who was his God, told him, I will continue to make you so strong as long as you do not cut your hair. And this was quite a bit of a sacrifice for him, especially at the time when long hair was not of the fashion for many men. But he agreed to God's terms. He did not cut his hair, it grew very long, and he was a very strong gentleman. And then one day he met a woman named Delilah, and she did not like his long hair. She wanted to change his hairstyle. And she said, please, please, please cut your hair. He said, no, I made a promise to God. He's making me very strong so I can kill a lot of things. If I cut my hair, I will break my promise to God, Ben David. And she said, do it anyway. And so he did. And he wasn't strong anymore. He was having trouble killing people, animals, various things a strong man likes to kill. And he thought to himself, oh my goodness, I should not have broken this promise. It was not worth it. But at the end of the story, God, Ben David, forgives him for cutting his hair and makes him strong just one more time, just strong enough that he can completely destroy a building with some people inside. All right, so I am finished with this crystal chandelier. And I will now place it in its designated spot here on the rooftop. I guess it is somewhat of a luxury to have a crystal chandelier on the roof of a McDonald's. Particularly beautiful date spot if you would like to take a date to the rooftop here. Where are we at with Bible 2? Comes a question from Derek in the chat. It is one of the projects I am steadily working on. The Bible 1 is a very long book. And when you are writing a sequel to a book, you obviously want to top it. You definitely do not want to provide a lesser than experience for those who enjoyed Bible 1. And Bible 1 being upwards of 1,000 pages, depending on how big the print is and how thick the pages are, means that Bible 2 is going to have to be at least twice as long. We're talking 2,000 pages. Now, I do have some little tricks up my proverbial sleeve to fill out the page count. There will be many, 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 many more illustrations in Bible 2 than there were in Bible 1. But I'm still not quite finished with it yet. Sometimes it takes quite a few years. There's a gentleman by the name of George Ronald Reuel Martin who wrote a book series called A Song of Ice and Fire. And he has been working on the final volume of that series for quite some time. So, and that is not even as serious or as impactful as something like Bible 2. And that is just a trifle. It's basically just another Chronicles of Narnia type book. Very easy to write. And it's taking him quite a while because it is very long. And so you can imagine it's taking me quite a while as well. I would be writing it right now, but I, for some reason, decided I was going to construct this massive McDonald's for several hours on a Sunday morning. Several hours of my life that I will, in fact, never get back. Well, thank you for the question. So moving on to, I believe I am now constructing the sign that goes on top of the roof. Another bag emptied. tricky diagram for this particular part of the build, but I believe I figured it out. Oh, another sticker needs to be applied. This one reading open 24 hours. And it will be applied to this white square. Hopefully I can line this up properly. It is somewhat difficult. But I believe I have done it with great success. Ah, I see. And now this sign is properly illuminated. And now there is a three-dimensional hamburger sculpture that will be attached to it. Finished hamburger will be placed at an angle on the sign, just a very slight jaunty angle. And now the sign is complete. Data Blast says, "Hi, Brian. Only started listening to your podcast last week, but already on episode 100. It's amazingly captivating. Thank you for creating." Oh, well, you're very welcome. Episode 100, I believe that was live from the parking lot of the Burbank Public Library with my friend Keone. It's a very enjoyable experience. Hopefully you will stick around for the next 160 something more episodes. Oh my goodness gracious. The ceiling is now complete. The rooftop, I mean. This is it. This is the final piece of the McDonald's. And we'll place it on top and then give everyone a good look. And it fits nicely on top of the structure. So let's see here. Look at this. Look at this incredible finished, highly illegal bootleg McDonald's. Not very interesting from this side. I will plug it in a moment so we can enjoy the light up features. But this is it. And this will serve, as I said earlier, as a movie set for my next motion picture involving beloved characters Ronald McDonald and his young ward, Crepe. Incredible. Okay, I will now plug this in and see if I can dim as many lights as possible. so you can get the full effect. I'll take my camera off its stand so I can free roam a bit more. I cannot move the building too much because the USB cable for the lights is not very long. And we'll probably have to use an extension. But this is it. This is the finished McDonald. So you would enter, let's see, if you were miniature figurature size, you would be entering, sort of, see if I can approximate a walk-in motion inside the McDonald's. And then you would go through this revolving door to the indoor dining room. You might climb the stairs to the second floor, which is full of wires for the lights. Not particularly sightly. In fact, some might argue unsightly. But from a distance, it is a fairly nice effect. Oh, let me see. Oh yes, it is a collectible plate of Leonard Nimoy. I do have some decorative items on my desk. Apologies if anyone takes offense to any of them. I am a bit of a Trekkie, as you can see. And there's the crystal chandelier on the luxurious rooftop dining area. The sign with the three-dimensional hamburger sculpture. I have to say, for the price I paid, which was nothing, this is quite a value. And I hope to get quite a bit of use out of it in the very near future. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I will talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.